Hi guys, I am excited about today. I'll be honest, I'm sharing a personal story that it's not really a great memory, so that part I'm not really excited about. But I actually realized just a minute ago as I was about to hop on the live that I forgot to send the email reminder. I have been scheduling it all week long to those of you who have signed up to get the schedule in your inbox, just as a reminder. And our schedule is fluctuating and it's changing a little. Have something really exciting coming up tomorrow. So if you are on that list, check your inbox about what's coming up tomorrow. And I actually added something for next week. We actually have 2 next week. So this is not just a week-long thing. This is going to extend into a 2-week thing, this whole natural health and wellness week here on my Solely Rested page. I'm excited about it. I'm having a lot of fun, bringing some fun experts on and just sharing a lot about my own health journey and what I have learned over the past decade that has been life-changing for me. So I'm glad you guys can join me. Hello, everyone that's hopping on. Good to see you. Good morning, Titus Grove. Please do leave comments. Tell me maybe where you're from, or tell me if this is the first live you're catching this week, or if you've been able to catch them all. Unfortunately, what I didn't know yesterday, if you caught yesterday's live, I actually figured out after the fact that any comments you leave don't stay there for me to come back to later. So one of you, actually, I'm hoping you catch this today, and I'm forgetting your Instagram handle. You were talking about a way that you incorporate turmeric as real food into your day, every day, something that you mix and drink. If you know what I'm talking about, if that was you, send me a message, please. But if you leave the comment here, I thought I'd be able to go back to it later, and I can't. So I do want to send you the schedule for what's coming up. We have at least 3 more lives, really great stuff I don't want you to miss. So please, when this is finished, when the live is over, please comment the word wellness. If you comment it now, unfortunately, I'm not going to see it when I'm done. But when this live is over, as soon as it's done, comment the word wellness, and I will make sure you get the schedule as well as any of the resources that we talk about during this live, okay? So, I haven't introduced myself once this entire week. Maybe I could do that quickly. It just dawned on me. By the way, did you notice? I got fancy. I put on my earrings literally 45 seconds before hitting the live button. I thought, I should look somewhat decent, so I put on some earrings. If you watch the first live, you get my joke. And I panicked thinking, wait, maybe I do still have it, but I don't. I have no garden dirt under my nails today. So if you were watching yesterday, you get that joke. Okay, I am Michelle Visser. I'm the author of the book called Sweet Maple. I spent almost 3 years researching maple syrup and all natural sugars and why they matter. I learned so much. It blew me away, and I was elated to publish Sweet Maple. And I have a podcast. It's called Simple Doesn't Mean Easy. It's probably one of my favorite things I like to do, honestly, although I've really enjoyed these lives all week. But I love sitting down and recording a podcast, the experts that I get to talk to, and just getting to chat with you guys in a kind of a longer format, in a more relaxed format where I can share things in a way that I really don't get the chance to share other places. I've also been writing over at solelyrested.com and documenting my whole journey for the past decade. Literally, I think it was like 12 days after we moved from insane, hectic, half an hour south of Philly life, which is all I ever knew, to our current life here in rural New England. We're 18 miles from the nearest stoplight. We have 14 wooded acres. It's very quiet here. It's a very different life. I started instantly learning so much and wanting to learn more. And I started documenting it all over at solelyrested.com. So that's how that started. SOULY rested.com. Okay. So that's a little bit about me. There's lots more, but I'll save that for another time. Today we're talking about gut health and why it matters. I think gut health has come up in some way every single day this week. Even when we were talking with Dr. Pickowicz on Tuesday, she brought up gut health, which I was not expecting. So it's really, when you're doing exercises, I've always been told that your core is so important. Like if you don't do anything else, make sure you strengthen your core because it relates to so many other facets of your physique and your fitness. And I feel like gut health is the same for our overall nutrition. It just seems to come up again and again because 70% of our immune system is housed in our gut. So it's a really important topic. I wanted to give you some ideas. Oh, before I go any further, I just looked at my notes. I forgot something yesterday. I gave you, I think I said I had 3, but then I only shared 2, I think. Natural ways to fight inflammation in our body. That was our topic yesterday. And I totally skipped over one. If you signed up yesterday, if you commented wellness and I sent you the resources like I'll do today, if you comment wellness when the live is over, you saw what I missed. I totally skipped out on green tea. Green tea is a fantastic way to just drink a cup every day and help your body fight inflammation. My notes I had down were that doctors have actually said for a long time, the studies have shown that it fights inflammation because people who live in regions that consume more green tea have lower rates of inflammation-related illnesses. So that's why they started doing all the studies on it. And it's fascinating how good it is to fight inflammation. So I will share with you my favorite green tea. It's even on sale this week, which is crazy. Like, that was like totally out of the blue. I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to tell you guys this on Wednesday when we talk about inflammation, and then I forgot. So I'll send it to you today. Comment wellness when this is done. Okay, so I think I'm going to start today with the hard part, my story. Why gut health really, really matters to me personally. What happened? My father was a country boy, grew up one of 10 in the backwoods of Maryland. It actually is, West Virginia has that panhandle. Like if I could draw West Virginia, I can't really. It has that eastern panhandle. There's a little teeny bit of Maryland tucked down in that little crevice of West Virginia. That's where my dad's from. It's about as backwoods Maryland as you could get. In a wonderful way. I don't mean to say that negatively. It's still that way today, and I love going there. But he grew up a country boy, very rural, no medical intervention, like whatsoever. And his whole life, all the way through his adulthood, he did move, and he lived a more suburban life, which is where I grew up, but he still had very little medical intervention and never ever needed an antibiotic for any reason, none. So when he got really sick, his doctor didn't even think twice, prescribed an antibiotic. My dad didn't even think twice, didn't ask him, didn't even think about it at all. He just took the medicine the doctor prescribed because that's what a good old boy does, right? He not only was in the hospital within 24 hours, he flatlined. We almost lost my father. In fact, we actually did for about 8 seconds. And medical staff rushed in immediately and revived him. But we literally lost him because his gut was stripped of all of the good bacteria. His whole life, his gut had been functioning healthy, building up the amazing bacteria, doing its job. And suddenly this intense medicine that he had never taken his whole life, and here he was, I guess upper 60s, maybe young 70s, taking an antibiotic, a powerful one. And his gut literally crashed. And his body couldn't take it. Our guts are absolutely imperative for our body to function. And when the gut health plummets, it was the scariest thing. It's crazy. And that was the first time in my life I ever even really thought about gut health. I'll be honest with you, if I had been my dad in that same situation at that time, the person that I would have just taken that antibiotic too. I wouldn't have asked any questions. I wouldn't have even thought I had to ask questions because it's a guy in the white coat writing out a script. It's serious, it's real, that's what I do. Like, that's what I used to think. So that was the first time, not only that I understood, wow, I need to find out about gut health and what is this bacteria? Like, what happened to my dad's bacteria in his gut? Why did it all get destroyed? And what does that mean? How does he build it back up? Like, I started researching all of that. But it's also the first time in my life that I realized it's okay to question a medical expert. I mean, it's not even disrespectful. Like, that medical expert had no idea. Like, who would ever expect at the age of 70 that you've never once ever had an antibiotic, like that maybe he was giving you one that was too powerful, or maybe it wasn't a good idea for you to take one. They don't know your history, they don't know your health, and they're not invested in your life the way that you are. You need to be your own advocate, and you need to ask questions, and you need to not be embarrassed to ask the questions. In fact, the natural health and wellness bundle that is available for a few more days, one thing I love about it, I've been diving in and so many resources I'm in love with that I'm downloading and I'm working through. I signed up for my passwords for all the different e-courses and master classes. By the way, just a little tip, if you've gotten the bundle, use the same email. Are you a person like me that has like 6 emails? Use the same email and use the same password for every e-course that you sign up for, because trust me, when you go back in, it's going to help to just remember easily what your password is. I speak from experience. Anyway, diving into all of it, and I'm realizing this is a resource to help us simply, if it's, I'm not saying you need to leave traditional medicine and just be all natural homeopathic, although, hey, more power to you. I would love to be able to do that. But when you go to a traditional doctor, this bundle will give you the knowledge to be able to help you have a conversation with the doctor. Ask some questions that you wouldn't have even known to ask before. So I love it that it really makes us an educated, I was going to say consumer, but that is not the word I want to use, an educated person about our own wellness. Okay, so that's my story and why gut health became really important to me. It's not surprising that I wound up, when I learned what kombucha was, which it took me a long time after that before I even knew what kombucha was, but as soon as I learned what it was, you, of course, are not surprised to know that I instantly wanted to know, can I make that? How do I make it? How does it work? I started researching it. I dove in within weeks. I was like an expert on kombucha because I was fascinated with it. And I put together Kombucha Academy because I had so many hurdles and so many things I needed to learn. But I thought, I want to make people understand this. I want to get this out there. So that was the first masterclass I ever created because of how passionate I was about it. And it is part of this bundle this week, guys, in case you didn't know that. You will get full access to my Kombucha Academy, $174 value, lifetime access if you want to dive into the natural health and wellness, natural health and healing bundle. And if you comment wellness when this live is done, I will send you the link, all the details, so you can check it out yourself. You can see what's in there, see what I'm talking about. It's amazing. Okay, how do we destroy our gut? There's 2 other things I want to cover today. What do we do in our everyday modern life that harms our gut? Aside from, I'm looking to see if anybody else has commented. I don't want to miss any comments. Aside from what happened with my father, and obviously taking certain medicines that, of course, sometimes we need to take. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but aside, that is definitely one way that we can harm our gut, and you need to be educated about that, and you need to be prepared. And be prepared how you're going to change your diet and what you're going to do to build up that good bacteria again. And there are quite a few resources in the Natural Health and Healing Bundle that actually give you all kinds of details. Kombucha Academy gives you a tool that you can use to build up your health. But I think there are 3 or 4 other resources on gut health specifically from medical experts that help you understand gut health. Hello from Southern Alabama to, is it Luz? I love it. It's fun, isn't it? That lives, people jump in from all over and we're all just having a conversation. I just love it. Okay. Aside from the medicines, other things that we do every day. The number one thing that I'm guilty of is not getting enough sleep. It throws off my hormones, my cortisol levels, and it actually impacts my gut. So that's one thing that I need to get better at. But for now, I know that it's like my Achilles heel when it comes to my gut health. Antibacterial soaps and wipes. This is not something I have ever been into because I've always kind of known the value of getting your hands dirty. But I get it. I do get it why people have a desire. And sometimes you have a health issue that means you need to get rid of germs. But whenever you're using those kind of soaps or wipes, it's impacting the good flora of your gut. You're harming the good bacteria in your gut. So you just need to be aware of that and you need to understand that you need to build it back up. Not enough time outside, not enough time playing in the dirt, because those things build up the good flora in your gut. And too much stress. That's the other one that I'm guilty of, guys. Like, it's not that it's even a bad stress. I just like living like on the go. You know what I mean? Even though I really, I live as rural as you can be, and I will go weeks sometimes without going to town. And I kind of love it. So when I say I like living on the go, I don't mean I have a crazy schedule. I just mean I always like to be doing something, whether it's work outside or doing something in the house or working in the garden or working on, all the resources that I put together. I love it. So it's not that it's a negative stressful, but I think sometimes my personality itself tends to lend itself to maybe having some gut issues because I'm just so go, what's the next project? Okay, so I also want to talk about signs of gut health. If you're wondering, okay, Michelle, this is all good to know, but how do I even know if it's something I need to worry about? Like, aside from the fact that if any of those things I just listed are something, what do you think about this? Are some things that you worry about or struggle with, you might have gut health. It's really something to think about. Gut difficulties, poor gut health. Aside from that, I'm going to list off for you in just a second signs of poor gut health that I've researched, and I've put together a list of. If you have any of these, it might be something you really need to research more about your gut health. Of course, like we talked, I think every day this week, but specifically with Dr. Pickowicz on Tuesday, we talked about our bodies are intricately made and everything works together. So it's very seldom that it's one core issue that's causing different problems and traumas that you're having. But it's good to break down, well, it could be this and it could be that, and start improving those areas. It's not a quick fix. It's not an easy pill. Doctor, write a script and you have your solution. But it's such a better way. And it feels so good. So I actually had to do this today, and I thought, this relates exactly to what we're talking about, to gut health. I'm actually filling up my kombucha. This is kind of over the top crazy, but I love it. This is a 4-gallon ferment vessel. I'll be honest with you, back when I got it, I needed the 4 gallons. I had 4 daughters living in the house. 2 or 3 were kombucha fanatics, plus myself. So I'll just show you. I'll pull this in. You can see it needs to be filled. That's my SCOBY. And you can see there the spigot that comes out to fill my second ferment bottles. I love this spigot. Make sure, by the way, little tip, if you're going to use a stainless steel container, that's great as long as it's high gauge stainless steel and as long as your spigot has no plastic in it, because the corrosive nature of kombucha will wear away at that plastic. And trust me, you don't want to drink plastic. So lots of tips like that in Kombucha Academy, but that's something I wanted to make sure I told you when you saw this. I don't fill it up 4 gallons anymore unless we're having like a big potluck at church or a big get together with some girlfriends and everybody loves kombucha. They're like, okay, Michelle, did you bring the kombucha? Then I will fill it up and I will make a lot. But when it's just me drinking it these days, I don't fill it up a lot. So I love that it's a continuous brew. I can make as much as I need for the week. And today I actually have my concentrate here. This is one of the many tips in Kombucha Academy that I share, and I break down exactly how to make this, and I give you a chart of exactly how much you need for however much kombucha you want to make. So it's really simple. But essentially, this is just extremely concentrated kombucha starter tea with a whole lot of sugar and a whole lot of really rich tea in it. Because it's concentrated, the reason I do that, I can keep it in the fridge for 2 months. And I can just pull out what I need. I usually have a half-gallon jar of this instead of just a quart jar. But for what I'm making today, I know that I need 2 cups of my concentrate. By the way, you might notice there's some ice in there. That's just iced of my concentrate because we have a really cold corner of our refrigerator. Does anybody else have an appliance that just drives you insane? But yet, I'm not going to replace it because it's only 4 years old and it works fine except for this. There's one corner of my fridge that if anybody places anything in that corner of my fridge, it is destined to be frozen. So everybody knows if they put mom's fermented vegetables in that corner, there's going to be heck to pay. But do you have an appliance like this? Somebody please tell me that you have an appliance that just drives you crazy, because it's always something, right? It's always an appliance that's doing something weird that you just need to live with, and the whole family just needs to know, look, this is going to be the problem if you do this. Looking again to see if there's any. I don't want to miss the comments. There's so many names to scroll through. I'm so glad so many of you are here. Oh, Luz says, yes, her refrigerator does the same thing. Really? Do you seriously have like a pocket that gets frozen? Rebecca, you too? You mean your refrigerator's the same? Wow, guys, I feel like I have comrades in arms. Okay, I need 2 cups of my concentrate. And that's just gonna go right in there. And then because there's a little bit of residue in my jar and I'm anal about stuff like that, I'm actually gonna pour my water through my jar. I know that this pitcher is a 9-cup pitcher. So all I have to do is fill this pitcher. Another time-saving tip when you're making kombucha, to have certain utensils you're using for certain purposes, that every week you know exactly what you're doing with it. But this pitcher is perfect when I need to make this amount of kombucha. So I'm just adding my water. And basically what I just did is I made the right amount of starter tea for the amount of kombucha that I want to have in the next, I don't know, 5 to 8 days I'll be bottling this. Depends on a whole lot of factors. We break that down in Kombucha Academy too. There's so many factors that change how quickly your tea is going to ferment. But currently with the weather and the temperature in the house, I'm guessing about a week this will be bottled in my second ferment. Okay. Basically what I did was I just fed it the starter tea that it needs when it's time to build up your kombucha. But I did it with concentrated form and added water. And that way, I didn't have to boil any water today. I didn't have to count out any amount of tablespoons of tea. I didn't have to measure a few cups of sugar. I just had to pull this out of my fridge and add some water. So huge time-saving tip, and there's lots more of that in Kombucha Academy because I want to make this whole process as easy as it can be for you, as easy as it can be for you. I think I skipped 2 words. Because it's so good for you and so delicious, and I just want the whole family to be able to enjoy it. And that means it needs to be easy for you to make it. Okay, this is now on there tightly. This fabric is twofold. One, it's going to let all the good bacteria in the environment get into my kombucha. That's what I'm doing with my kombucha. I am building up a whole culture of good bacteria. And then when you drink it, you're feeding the good bacteria in your gut. So the fabric's letting the good stuff in. The SCOBY that you saw is breaking down and destroying any of the bad stuff. It doesn't allow the bad stuff to live in this environment because the SCOBY keeps it so acidic. And then it also, I told you it was twofold, letting in the good stuff, keeping out the bad stuff. It's keeping out any of the horrible fruit flies or other pests that will love to get in there and drink some sugary tea. But of course I don't want them in there. Okay, that's it. One last thing, guys. This is going longer than I meant it to. Signs of poor gut health. I'm just going to read these off because I do not have these memorized. Digestive issues like gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, heartburn, irritable bowel syndrome, and food intolerances. Believe it or not, just a food intolerance even could stem from a gut that needs better bacteria living inside. Sleep issues, insomnia, and chronic fatigue. Of course, there could be tons of things that cause either of those issues, but it's a very interesting thought that if you heal your gut, you might see an improvement in those areas. Mood and emotional state like anxiety, depression, high stress, and low mood. Skin conditions, acne. Didn't know that. I had a dietary and nutrition expert on the podcast probably about a year ago now. She was fantastic. And you know what, if I remember, I will leave a link to that episode even in the resources I send out. When this video is over, when the live is over, if you comment wellness, and also if you're watching this later today, tomorrow, you're catching it later, comment wellness, and I'll send you the resources, and I'll include a link to this really great discussion I had with the nutritionist. And she started off by saying she was a professional nutritionist, went through all the education, got intense training, and she was practicing in her career, and a friend was talking to her about how she changed her diet and her lifelong acne cleared up. And Dr. Jamie looked at her friend like a light bulb went off, and she said, "Are you kidding me? No one ever told me. Through all those intense years of training and education, no one ever told me that acne relates to our diet." True story. And that was the moment that she decided she also wanted to be a holistic nutritionist. And then she went into Hall, the education needed to do that as well. So she knows both sides of the story. But all of that to say, poor gut health, which of course is impacted by your diet, what you're eating is affecting your gut health, can lead to acne and poor skin problems, psoriasis, rashes, allergies. Gut health can also impact your autoimmune system, of course, give you thyroid issues, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis. That one, I had no idea could come from poor gut health, and type 1 diabetes. And then finally, other issues, headaches, migraines, sugar cravings, unexpected weight gain or unexpected weight loss, and what we talked about all of our live yesterday, inflammation, pain and inflammation all over the body. All of that can relate to poor gut health. Long list. So, okay, guys, those of you who have commented wellness, please take a second, because I won't see this as soon as I hit the little X to send this over to record instead of, no, not to record, over to my page as a recorded video instead of being live. Everything you commented will be gone, which is why I'm going to scroll through one more time to make sure I see your messages. So everybody who's commented wellness, I really want to send you the schedule for the week and the resources that we're talking about. So please, please, please take a second as soon as this ends and comment wellness again. Okay, I think I caught up on the comments. Okay, so that's it for today. Please join me tomorrow. I'm really excited about the expert that's coming on, and I think you're going to love. We are talking about 4 foods. There could be a lot more, but I told her, let's try and keep it to 10 minutes because I know her schedule is jam-packed and she really only had 10 minutes. So we're talking about 4 of the foods that we really need to eliminate from our diet if we want to improve our overall inflammation issues and just our overall health. And the good news is, guys, it's not hard. It's not restrictive. It's just a matter of replacing the bad stuff in these 4 categories with the healthy, good stuff. And we're going to give you those suggestions too. So don't miss tomorrow's live. It will be a different time. Again, ask for the schedule. All this is going to come in the schedule. Oh, Luz, thank you. She said, appreciate you. And I appreciate that you're here. Seriously. All it's going to be in the schedule, but tomorrow I think it is 11:40 Eastern time. Yes, because she's Mountain time and it was 9:40 Mountain time. So 11:40 tomorrow instead of 10:30. 11:40 is when we're having that discussion about the 4 foods that you want to try and avoid and replace with something healthier. Okay, join me then, guys. Make sure you comment wellness.